Metal Faith Podcast.
We're back. Welcome to the podcast, the Metal Faith Podcast.
Yeah,
I'm Aaron.
I'm Chris.
How's it going?
Good. How are you doing?
Good. It's been kind of a busy week here. I hear you're just getting over a nasty cold.
Oh, it was nasty. I tell you, one of the worst things I've got. You know when the cold is bad, when every time you breathe, you feel like you're losing your lungs.
Oh my! Well, I'm glad you're better, and we can get back to recording.
Mm-hmm. Hope everyone else out there is having a good week. It's not minus 40 anymore here in Alberta.
No. Yeah, where we are, man. I tell you, we were in cold. We were so cold. The polar bears were going back to the Arctic to warm up.
Yeah, it was nuts.
And now we're back to plus temperatures. We're gonna be walking around in shorts and t-shirts again.
Yeah, I went outside throwing garbage. I couldn't believe I was still wearing my winter jacket. Like, what the heck?
All right. Well, should we get into birthdays, and then we'll do news? And I've got a few. Actually, we've got a few things to talk about in the news this week. There's gonna be a few changes to the podcast coming up too. Actually, we'll get to that in the news, I think. Okay, birthdays, and I think we left off last time at January 15th. So we'll do the rest of January, maybe the first week into February, and we'll see how that goes. January 19th, we got a couple birthdays. Let's see if I can say its name properly. From the band Jerusalem, Michael Ulfsgaard.
Okay. That's
Yeah,
old.
for those who know Jerusalem, they're a Swedish band back in the 80s. Actually, one of the Facebook pages did a brief history of Christian rock metal. And I think Jerusalem may have been listed as the first Swedish band coming out. And stuff. Also on the 19th, we got Steve Rowe, who played with Mortification. So we go from Swedish metal to heavy stuff.
That's a stretch for me. Yeah. I mean, if anyone out there can remember Mortification, let us know on our little Facebook page that you know who they were.
Right. Actually, bring that up. We'll do that after birthdays. We'll do our little blurb about everything that's going on, and that'll be part of the news too, I guess, with the changes occurring. But yeah, thanks for reminding me. I almost forgot, because we usually talk about that at the start of the podcast. Another old birthday, January 21st, Glenn Kaiser, who is born in 1953. He's the frontman, singer, and one of the guitarists for the band Rez, or Resurrection Band, or Resurrection. They started out, actually, part of in the 70s, part of the Jesus People movement. A lot of hippies were turning on to Jesus, coming to Jesus, Christianity. And from that movement, actually spawned a few bands, one of them being Resurrection Band. Over the years have shortened their name down to Resurrection and then down to Rez. And they were going strong until the 90s, I guess. The last record came out, I think, was called Appendectomy, which was an acoustic record of their greatest hits. It was 1990. Actually, I have to look at the year, and I should have grabbed this, looking at whose birthdays were coming up. But anyways, I remember I got into Rez in the Innocent Blood tour, and they were giving a free concert. I'm not sure how I heard about this. I heard about the free concert, some Christian band, and I thought I'd go check them out. They were really good. Ended up buying the cassette of that they were promoting at the time, in Innocent Blood. Fell in love with the band. After that, they came out with a double live greatest hits called 20 Years Live, or XX Live. And bought that. I was all excited. Heard that they were coming around, and I missed the date. I missed the show. Can you believe that?
Oh no!
Yeah, a buddy of mine was talking to me, and he said, "Did you go to the Rez show?" I'm like, "What? It already happened?" So
Yeah, that's
not very good promotion on that tour, I guess. But and I think that was the last time I heard. Well, the last time I heard of them coming around. I don't know if it came around after that.
I saw them when they were here, and it was the early days of the group that was doing YC.
Okay.
So my dad heard, hey, that these guys were coming. He had no idea who they were. And so I went with a couple of friends who I knew at the time, and we went, and wow. I mean, the only song that stuck to me and it really got me was the Silent Scream
Okay, that's a good
single.
song. Yeah,
Yeah.
that's a good song. I
Yeah.
don't have that album. I'm gonna have to go back and get that. I got a few other albums.
Yeah.
Maybe in the upcoming one of these upcoming episodes, we'll do like a best of res. For those who are listening, this week's main topic is going to be about inspirational songs.
Yeah.
Songs that really touch your heart, and it doesn't even have to be lyric wise. Sometimes the music just touches your heart too.
That's right.
And I bring it up now because actually Rez is going to have one of the songs. Spoiler alert, I guess. Rez is going to have one of their songs on my inspirational lists.
Okay.
They got. I'll talk about that song when it comes up.
Yeah. Awesome.
All right. February 3rd now. So we're getting to February. We actually got a couple birthdays. I don't think they were in the band at the same time. 3rd and 4th. 2 birthdays from the same band. Again, though, with the multiple lineup changes, I don't believe they were in the band at the same time. February 3rd is John Schlitt's birthday. And then February 4th is Trent Thomason, who was a member of Petra as well. I believe he was probably in it. You know what? He might be in the later days, actually. I've got his birthday listed in 1972, so that makes him around our age.
Yeah.
And not as old as John Schlitt.
Hey, don't tell people how old we are. Come on.
I said around our age.
Yeah.
And well, we'll do one more. February 7th. Actually, this is it's a remembrance day, not a birthday. I've got actually a death day. Damien Percy, who played with Mortification, died this in February 7th in 2018. I don't have information on what he died from.
Yeah.
What I've been doing is making a big list of all of the bands we know, we listen to, fans out there listen to and know. And you know what I mean? A huge list. There's about 70 bands on this list of Christian rock, metal, that over the course of this podcast, we're going to be talking about or probably come up in conversation. And I've got probably 90% of research done on who's in the band, who's been in the band, and who had birthdays. Problem is, trying to find all this information actually is kind of hard. Sometimes it's really easy. I can find information. Other times I can't find anything. Yeah. I might find a year, can't find a date.
And that could be a bunch of different reasons, right? Maybe the record label's publicist, they don't want to release it, or the family don't want it all over the internet, which would make sense.
Yeah, and all I'm saying on that is, you know what, my research, my information may be spotty. And actually, I was going through this. You find out some of these bands went through multiple lineup changes. And when I started the research, I would just, any member who was part of the band, like in February there, we had, what was it, Trent Thompson. But I didn't write down what year he was part of Petra. Didn't write down exactly what instrument. As I'm more on the ball, I might look at upcoming birthdays and then do a quick research when they played with the band and what they did with the band. It's been a busy week though.
Yeah. You could only do the best you could do, right? So
yeah. So that's it for birthdays. I guess we'll talk about news then, and we'll start with changes. So for those listening, we're going to make a few changes. We're going to retitle the podcast slightly. We realized a lot of the stuff we talk about isn't just metal. A lot of it is Christian rock as well. So we thought, why not add that into the name of the podcast? So this episode, I think we'll leave the name Metal Faith. Episodes after this, we're going to rename and call it Rock and Metal Faith. If you've subscribed to this episode, if you subscribe to the podcast, it shouldn't change anything. You might see a different name pop up, but you should still get the episodes continually. It all works as part of their RSS feed, and that doesn't change. Whatever I do will change, but that all changes with it, and the RSS feed stays the same. So it should all still be available just as much as it was before.
Yeah. That sounds good to me.
Yeah. Won't worry too much about upcoming content. Like I said, we're going to be talking Christian rock, Christian metal, faith-wise. We'll still do the news segment, birthday segment, and all that. So not much is going to change. It might look a little different, might sound, it won't even sound different. It's still going to be us guys fooling around. And
Yeah, the sound I think will be the same. Yeah.
Oh, the other thing is still, as we muddle our way through this, you might hear a few new things. We're finally figuring out how we're going to get music into this. And
If you guys have ideas for good songs that we could use for bumpers, ideas, maybe songs you listen to, we don't want it to be extremely heavy. We like the ballads too, but just keep in mind the name of our podcast. We don't really want country, okay? we don't want Veggie Tales unless you're a kid. We might do that, okay?
you know what? There's nothing wrong with VeggieTales, although you're right. I don't know if it fits with the podcast. I like VeggieTales. When VeggieTales came out, I was a teenager, and I was hanging out with the youth group of Lions Church. I'm not a member of the Lions Church, but I was hanging out with youth group and the kids of the high school kids at that time.
Yeah.
And they were into VeggieTales.
Yeah.
And so was I. There's nothing wrong with that.
No, nothing wrong with it too. I mean,
yeah,
my niece is a grown up now, but she loved the Veggie Tales here, and I still, every time I seem to cook a cheeseburger, I always get the cheeseburger song in my head.
I don't remember that one. I
Yes.
remember. Did you ever hear the Hairbrush song?
Yes, that too. Yeah. Did you ever
No.
play? Did you ever play that with the Veggie Tales for the kids?
Oh yes. Yeah.
Did you? Okay.
Yeah. No, I just had an idea. Talking about our podcast, talking about VeggieTales. I wonder if and I've seen on Facebook where guys are doing songs like cover songs
Mhm.
in the style of somebody else. So it's like, what if Metallica wrote Michael Jackson's "Beat It," and they play "Beat It" like Metallica or Slayer or somebody? What if Mortification sang the Hairbrush song?
That would be interesting. That would be. We should send an email to Petra to see if they would not be up to that. Okay, maybe not. That might be a little light. Well, maybe when we talk about the modern guys, maybe we'll reach out to Disciple, see if they could do a modern version of the cheeseburger song. I mean, if got the fans out there know who VeggieTales are and Disciple, wow, I think that would.
Well, I never know. I mean, hey, you know who VeggieTales and Disciple are.
That would be cool.
Who's to say no one else does?
Yeah.
The other thing I want to bring up, and this is something that's I'm going to put under news/current events because it's not really a news item, although it's kind of newsworthy, and it's not any one item. I don't know how to classify this, but this is something that kind of got me thinking before we even started the podcast. If you remember, we were kicking around the idea and we're trying to get this thing off going, and then I said, "Oh man, we got to get this thing moving. I want to jump on this one topic." Well, this is I'm going to bring it up now, and I'm just going to, like I said, put it under today's current events. And I'll introduce it by saying John Cooper of Skillet there has written a book it's called Weak, Wimpy, and Woke. And he's talking about what's wrong with a lot of Christians. I won't say every Christian, because it's not every Christian, but there are some Christians out there that, according to his book there, and I haven't seen this personally, although maybe I have, if you realize when I bring this up or what I really want to bring up. Maybe it's infiltrating people we know or people we love. But he's talking about how non-Christian values and ideals are seeping into Christianity, and a lot of Christians are taking hold of non-Christian ideals and values and defending them, believing they're Christian type of thing. And, it's getting back to the gospel, getting back to what the Bible says. And, and even Paul, back in his day of writing the epistles, was fighting this, where he would start a church, leave, and then people would come along behind and start preaching something different, and that church is starting to believe something different. And he has to say, no, remember what we taught you, type of thing. And this is, I think, where it's going. But, and I don't want to mention names because I don't want to slander anyone. I'm not here to slander. This is just something that's been on my mind.
Yeah.
There was a prominent Christian singer who was talking about Judas Priest video that was just released. This is back in November, and they've got an upcoming album. Now, the singer is a big fan of Christian and non-Christian, grew up on non-Christian music, and I did too. I'm a big fan of both. And I see nothing wrong with it, and that's not my point. He was talking about the lyrics of this video, and he says, it sounds like he's talking about Jesus Christ. Maybe he is, now from my point of view, maybe he is, maybe he isn't. I listened to the video. It's possible he doesn't mention Jesus, but, maybe he's tiptoeing. The problem is it's coming from Judas Priest and stuff. So if you know anything about Judas Priest and know who Rob Halford is.
Yeah.
Okay. And
he's got a sordid past too with all that.
Yeah. And when he made that comment about Judas Priest having these kind of lyrics, everyone was jumping on that saying, oh, did Rob Halford convert? How great. Or did he convert? Because how can he be a Christian and live the lifestyle he has been like, unless he converted? Did he convert? That's great. And stuff like this. Here's the issue that got me, because the next post by the Christian singer, and I don't know if they're related, but it happened like days after everybody was commenting about Rob Halford, saying, well, if he's still in his past lifestyle, he can't be a Christian. Then the singer pipes up again with another post saying, I can't believe how judgmental Christians are. They're the worst judgmental, hypocritical people ever. And then trying to judge people's hearts when they know nothing about them, blah, 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 type of thing. And I'm going, what are you talking about? There should be certain standards for Christians. If someone was going around, being I don't know, going around committing sin and not repenting of it, put it this way, that was obvious type thing. If they were being a robber or burglar, or if they were trying to cheat people out of, fraud and stuff like this, we would not call those people Christians unless they repented and says, I was wrong. I repented that. I'm not going to do it again. And I've no problem with Christians who do that daily. I know that even in my life, I've lived with habitual sin where I do things and I know they're sinful. And every time I do them, I repent and say, that's it, I'm done. But the next opportunity, I'll go right back to doing it again, Yeah.
I think part of that whole thing is a lot of these, they pick out guys who are in the public.
Yeah.
Okay. They say, the whole Alice Cooper thing, right? That's been going on for like maybe 10 years, right? Where he came out and someone said that he was a Christian, right? He came out. The same thing with Ozzy Osbourne. Everybody said he was a Christian.
Well, Ozzy, I don't know if he is. I never heard he converted. I'm not saying he is or isn't. It's one of those things where I haven't heard that he converted, and this would be a good topic to do down the road of Christians in the mainstream world. You know, and there's the obvious ones. There's the guys that were in Creed. There's guys
Yes.
that were what was it? What's the other band? Collective Soul. You know, you can tell by their lyrics that while they're not a Christian band, there's definitely a faith behind their lyrics, type of thing. You know, and then you got someone like Alice Cooper, who is different because when he converted, he didn't change his lyrics. He didn't, although some of his songs are very Christian. He's got one on the Last Temptation album called "Cleansed by Fire," and that is as Christian as a song as you'll ever get, and stuff. The other thing is, though, he hasn't changed the stage show, but if you ever talk to him, he's not shy about sharing his faith. You know.
Yeah. So I think the other thing is some Christians get on a high and will go after these performers, and that's what it is, right? They're making money doing what they love and they're good at, and people can turn around and say, oh, I don't think you should be, you know, playing like that. I don't like your lyrics. And I've seen it, Aaron, after concerts where parents will come with their teenage son and they'll say, hey, I don't like what you wrote in this song. And they would they'll get into arguments like it says here in the Bible and stuff, but they don't understand that it's just their interpretations of life.
Yeah.
Of experiences and stuff.
Well, I remember a comment way back, and this would have been think about the time I was going to college. I think so. This was probably in early 90s, and I was with a group of guys. They were talking about Holy Soldier, and on the second Holy Soldier album, there's a song called "Crazy." Okay, on the album Last Train, and it's just a typical song about hurting from a breakup, from a relationship type of thing. It's got, now the song itself has nothing to do with Jesus, God, or religion or anything. It's how he felt, a song that he wrote. Obviously he probably went through breakup. You know, we as people and we as Christians go through the same things everybody else goes through.
Yeah.
We just have faith behind it. We have faith in the eternal Jesus Christ behind that to help us walk through the valleys type of thing. But we still experience those valleys type of thing. And there's nothing wrong with writing about it, because this one guy said, well, Holy Soldier can't be a Christian band because they wrote this song, is what he was getting at. And I'm going, wait a minute. Have you never felt the emotions that were written, you know, that this guy felt when he wrote this song? You know? You know what I'm talking about, hey? The Crazy?
Yes. Yeah. I think so, yeah.
And stuff. You know, it's not a bad song. It really, in my mind, you know, it wasn't a ballad. It was kind of an upbeat rock and roll tune, and not bad. I wouldn't say it was the best on the album, but it wasn't a bad song, and such. Yeah,
it really is crazy how some, especially older Christians, could get very uptight about it, especially if, I mean, the early days. I still remember saying, you know, a couple of my friend dads, I'd be like, me and friends would be like, we're going to the concert, and it was a heavy one, and they're like, no, you shouldn't go to that because, you know, it's a devil. And I'll be like, really? Let me read you the lyrics of these guys.
Yeah.
And so it's cultural, it's generational, right? Early generations aren't going to like this. Just like my dad remembers when he was a teenager, or our age even right now, where Elvis and some of the early guys came in and his mom and dad weren't thrilled.
Yeah.
Right? They didn't get it. I mean, and now, I mean, my dad still doesn't understand why they have to have heavy drums and heavy bass, but that's okay.
Yeah. Well, I know we talked a little bit about this on the Striper episode. You know, the flack that Striper got,
Yes.
and they got from both sides. You know, the metal community didn't like them because they were too Christian. The Christian community didn't like them because they were too metal. Yet it's funny because here they are, 40 years later, still going just as strong, and they've got a very core, strong fan base. You know. Well, I think the point that John Cooper was trying to make, though, is that we got Christians that are believing false ideologies, incorporating, false ideologies into Christianity, and thoughts, ideologies that don't belong in Christianity, and they're defending them as strongly as anyone would defend their faith, but they're wrong. This might not be deliberate. This might be unknowingly. I think what I've taken away from this is that there is a real spiritual battle out there, more so than maybe what's been in the past. The devil's trying to step up his game, and even though he's losing, he's really trying to fight back, type of thing. With that being said, and with the fact that we're going to do music in the episode, I wanted to introduce a song. This is a song that, as I've been thinking about this conversation that we just had, that the first couple lines from this song started coming to mind. There's a battle going on, and are you ready to fight? And this is the song. It's called "Love Is a Weapon" by Whitecross.
Love is a weapon. not abuse it. Love is our weapon. We need to use it. Love is our weapon. Don't you abuse it. And love is our weapon. We need to use it. And love is our weapon. Let's not abuse it. Love is our weapon. We need to use it. And love is our weapon. Don't you abuse it.
I started out with
Yeah.
5. I could have easily gone 7. I almost thought about adding. Well, I think I had 7 narrowed down.
Oh,
Thought
okay.
7 would have been good. 7's like the perfect number, the holy number or whatever. I can leave a couple off though.
Well, there's so many songs I could think off my head.
Oh yeah. Well, there's one that it's not bad lyrically. It's talking about letting really the good inside you shine. I think I'm gonna probably mention these ones too. I was gonna leave them off, but since I start talking about this one, because there's one musically, it just grabs my heart and touches my heart, and it's not bad lyrically either. Like I said, it's about just letting the good inside you shine through. It's from the Allman Brothers, and the song's called Soul Shine. And I don't know if you've heard that one.
What name of the song?
Soul Shine.
That sounds familiar.
It's great. It was written way back in the 70s, but it's got this beautiful opening guitar riff that I'm not sure if it's because I know it's starting off that song, or it just the notes that they put together when they did that opening riff. I tell you, it just says something to me.
I think another song I really like is Leonard Skinner's "Simple Man."
Oh, that's a great one too.
I like that song too, and the words are amazing. They really are.
Have you heard Shinedown's version of that?
No.
It's stripped down. It's just him and acoustic guitar, and that's it.
Wow.
And his voice really shines through. I seen him in concert one time opening up. I can't remember who they were opening up for. And I remember saying that to my wife Candy there. I says, you know what? If Shinedown came out, sang Simple Man, and then walked off the stage, I would have been a happy man just hearing that one song.
Wow.
Now they played more than that song, but yes, they did play that one too. I'll leave it at 6. Instead of mentioning the other one. The other one's the other one's a good one too, but I'll leave it at 6. Where we go here? There's a band called. I remember back when I was hanging out with some friends, and I was dating one girl. One of her friends are dating this one girl before I met my wife, and one of her friends and I used to get into this argument over the band name. I think I used to call it Siloam, but I think it's really pronounced Siloam. Spelled Siloam. They got their name from the reference in the Bible where Jesus heals the paralytic who was always trying to make his way down the waters when they were stirred, but could never get there because it was believed that whoever got in the water first when it was stirred would be healed of whatever ailment. But he could never get to the water first because he was paralyzed. And then Jesus came along and said, well, take up your mat and walk.
Yeah.
And stuff. They have a song called Here I Am Again.
Here I Am Again. Okay.
And stuff. Really, it's a song about habitual sin and stuff. He says, here I am again on my knees praying. Lord, I can't remember all the words in it, but, here I am again praying, saying that I'm sorry for what I've done. I won't do it again. But you know what? I said that before, and here I am again. And that's the theme of the song. type of thing. And like I said, I think we all go through that. So that's why I put it on the list, because it's one that can touch a lot of people. I know a lot of people think that once they convert to Christianity, or once they give their life to God, everything's hunky-dory. The life is going to be perfect from there on in. And then they realize it isn't,
Yeah.
And we're still living in the flesh. And yes, we're spiritual people. We're still living in the flesh. And we got to contend with the fact that we're going to sin. But the good news is we're also going to be forgiven. Even if we keep sinning the same sin over and over and over, we're going to be forgiven. And kind of on that, well, no, on the same thing. Same thing about reaching up to God, no matter what's going on in your life. When things aren't going well, you're walking through the valley. In the words of Petra, just reach out.
Reach out. Yeah.
Yeah.
I think that for me, the early days when I came to know the Lord, that one song that just tugged on my heart, and to this day, I think I have it on my playlist. It's by a guy by the name of Al Denson.
Okay.
And he was a pop thing. He was kind of like a one bit artist, and he wrote a song called "Right Where You Are." And Aaron, I wore that tape out. Musically, it was well written. The words are beautiful. So if you get a chance out there, guys, find it, listen to it, and I encourage you. It's pretty nice. I don't think he's done a newer version of it. I would love to, but hey, who knows?
Good. What else did I have on here? Back to Holy Soldier. And on the first album, there's a great song because, again, life isn't hunky-dory. Life is going to be filled with troubles, with pain. And you know what? It is biblical to experience, to feel pain, to feel stressed, to cry out to God and question. I mean, there's the book of Lamentations. Job was filled with that, going, what's going on? I know I am righteous before God, but what's going on with all this that's going on around me? His friends kept telling him, you must have some unrepentant sin. He says, no, I don't, although I don't understand this. The Psalms are filled with that, questioning God. There's nothing wrong with that. Holy Soldier had a great song on their first album that, again, and this came out when I was in high school, and I didn't have the best high school life. I was never part of the in crowd, and felt lonely, felt hurt a lot of the time. And so I really related to this. This was a song called Pain Inside of Me by Holy Soldier.
Okay.
And stuff. Again, it was off the first one. And this was, not a rocker. This was a slow song. The emotional content of this. I know you said one time, I don't like ballads. Well, some of these songs are ballads. In the right context, I do like ballads.
Yeah.
I think the last one I'm going to mention is going to be a ballad. I also had to put on a Striper reference, although the Striper song isn't my favorite Striper song. Comes off my least favorite Striper record. But Michael Sweet also redid the entire album under his own band name. On the song Reborn Again, or Reborn by Striper, the song Reborn, where he's going, I just want to live again. I gotta have a Striper reference in my list.
I was expecting that.
And then I said before I was gonna have Rez on my list. So I guess the number one, or I didn't renumber these. We don't need to number them, but anyways, Rez with a song Where Roses Grow and stuff. This is, again, another one that starts off with a great bluesy lead solo riff. So right away, the music grabs your attention. And this is a song that on that live record that I got, he introduces it. This was also on The Innocent Blood. And but on the live record there, he introduces it. It was written about a friend who I think had AIDS, but died as a Christian
Mm.
and stuff. So while he didn't have the holiest lifestyle before he died, and it wasn't like on his deathbed. I don't believe it was on his deathbed. He did give his life to Jesus, live for a while, and I don't know how long, but because of his past lifestyle, had contracted AIDS and died.
Mm.
But it's a song of hope too. And you don't even have to know anyone that went through that. And maybe you do. Maybe you're going through that, or maybe it's a completely different issue. It's a song of hope, where roses grow, and stuff like this. And so that's what I got to say about that.
Yeah, that's good. That's good. I think mine would be Disciples After the World. I'm going to put that
Okay.
video up. I think that's a really a good song that, that's what Jesus does. He gives us hope. He forgives us. He's our friend, our dad.
Yeah. And you know what? I think there's been some good songs mentioned this week.
Mm-hmm.
Sounds good. Anything else we need to say?
No, please subscribe. Hit it. Tell everybody. Tell the world.
Sounds good. So that's our episode for this week. Yeah, definitely subscribe, share the episode on your Facebook timeline or your social media timeline story. We'll continue to get the word out ourselves, and we'll see you next time.
See you next time.
As
Well, my list was pretty much, I think, Casting Crowns, Praise You in the Storm. That
Okay.
was my. It's not metal stuff, but it's rock. And I put the version that they sang at the Billboard Music Awards, I think last year, and they pretty well just talk about being in the storm, and that was when, for listeners who don't obviously know, I had brain surgery in 20, almost 22 years ago, 23 years ago. How long have you been married, Aaron?
What year is it?
Oh, gee.
You know, I think I was married in 04. Where are we now? 24. So 20 years, coming up 20 years.
Yeah, okay. So 20 years ago. And I guess full disclosure, I saw Aaron and his wife were the last people I saw before I went for brain surgery. So that was the song I listened to. They gave you an option before I walked into surgery to listen to a song. And I did want to hear Bon Jovi, but my mom was like, "Oh no, we don't want rock and drums and whatever." So I picked that. So, and then after that, when I woke up and survived, everything was good. Called all my friends, called Aaron, let him know I was alive, and I had to go through chemo, just 2 rounds of it. And so that was a song that I listened to every time my dad drove me to the cross cancer for the chemo. I mean, for the radiation and chemo. And that's a really good, talks about, no matter what we're going through stages in life, that Jesus isn't leaving us alone. He's going to walk with us through that. He was going to be by your side, and he didn't run away when, laying on the sheet there waiting for my neurosurgeon to come in. He didn't run away. He didn't get scared. He was with me, even though I was freaking out. Really, really scared during that moment, because my dream of being a cop was pretty much over the second they put me to sleep. And so that was definitely one of my songs. So if anyone is listening out there and you feel alone, God isn't going to leave you alone.
Very good. Yes, definitely.
And second one, I think, was a song by old 80s song by John Parr. And he's done a lot of different versions of the song. But he did a song for a guy here in Canada in the late 80s, maybe. And his name was Rick Hansen. He's still alive. He has a center in Vancouver. And he was in a wheelchair. He still does this stuff today. But back then, so I was born with a disability. And one Saturday afternoon, my dad took me and my little sister to an old building. Now Aaron knows Rogers, Northlands, and he showed up with Rick Hansen's Man in Motion song, and that has stuck with me even now. Like, it's just an amazing song. It's well done. It talks about not giving up on your dreams. It's not a Christ-centered dream, but to me, it almost sounds like he's pointing to God, that God can move you to the next part of your dream, whatever it is. So that's mine.
Was that what you got, or you got more?
That's all. I think I put everything on the website. Right. I think, yeah, I think so.
Okay.
If I think of any more, we'll do a future episode of this again, maybe in a month or two.